Hey guys, it's Mondi. Welcome back to Indead Gaming. Now today's episode is going to be a little different. This is actually going to be a repair guide for the original Xbox. This is a very specific problem I have run into, and I have found absolutely nothing online about it, but I figured it out on my own. So just in case any of you poor souls has run into this issue, this is your video. So you can see regular old Xbox 360. I've already soft modded this and replaced the hard drive and everything, but other than that, it is bare bones stock. No BIOS upgrade, no nothing. You can see, boots up just fine. It works great. It reads discs. It does all the stuff you want it to do. Just wait for the dash to load to prove it. Okay, perfect. So you can see it works fine. But I'm going to show you the exact scenario that I thought bricked my Xbox for a second. So as you know, on all of these original Xbox consoles, there is... let me turn my flash on so you can see. There is a tiny little pinhole right there in the center of the screen that you can see. Sorry, my controller ports are a little dusty. I haven't dusted this thing in a while. That manually pops open the disc tray if, you run into some catastrophic failure where the disc won't come out. So I'm going to show you something real quick. There's no actual problem with the disc tray on this thing, but I was just coming home and I'm like, hey, that's a cool little hole there. I'm just going to do it just cuz. So what I did is I took my long piece of wire here. Let me find the hole. I took my long piece of wire. Sorry, I can't really hold the phone very well, but just give me a minute. Jam that piece of wire. I'm probably just not pushing it far enough. Jam that piece of wire in there. Trying to pop open the disk drive. Disk drive isn't popping open. Absolutely nothing. I'm like, I can't figure out what's doing it. Disk tray. Oh. Wait just a minute. Okay, so yeah. So the original problem was that it wouldn't open. But now you see it's not opening again, and I'm going to show you guys how to fix it. So let me stop it. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to unplug your Xbox. You're going to pull it up here to your workstation, which is currently my bed. Okay, I found it. It was literally sitting right here. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. First of all, with it unplugged, you're going to press that power button a couple times. Make sure all those capacitors or whatever in the power supply are not charged. You're going to take your screwdriver, and for these outside screws, you're going to take out your T20. First of all, under each of these 4 corner pads, there is a screw, and also under this sticker and this sticker. Now, I'm not going to walk through how you can get to these without breaking the seal, because I didn't do it because I don't really care. But if you want to, probably some isopropyl alcohol or something, you can look up a separate video on that, because I can't be asked. So we're going to take out all of these screws. I'm sorry, it's a little difficult to do this one-handed while holding the phone. I do not have any kind of head, like tripod or GoPro, so this is just a thing. But I was looking online. I saw this YouTube short. He's like, I had a problem, and I realized it's not on Quora or Reddit or anything. So that means that I have a civic duty to give the answers to the internet. So here I am giving the answers to the internet. So this is actually a different diagnostic problem than the last time. The last time this happened to me, which was the first time it happened to me when I was kind of freaking out, this drive wouldn't pop open when I did that emergency release thing, and the Xbox wouldn't boot. I'm like, what the hell? But right now the disk drive just isn't opening. So we're gonna take this thing apart and figure out what the problem is. Okay, perfect. So we got all those screws removed. So now we can flip over our Xbox. And this top shell here will if you give it a little bit of a wiggle, will just lift free, revealing the inside of the Xbox. So what we're trying to get to right here is the disk drive right here. But to get to that, we first have to take out 2 T10 screws, which one is right here, and the other, let me turn on the flash so you can see. One of them is this one right here. The other one is this one right here. Now I'm going to pause the recording because these things are a pain in the ass to get to because my screwdriver is thick as hell. So I'll unpause when I'm back. Okay, so both of those screws have now been removed. So you're going to pull forward that cable right there. And you're going to remove the last screw, which is right here. And all these screws, all these interior T10s, where'd the third one go? Oh, there it is. Those are all the same. Don't worry about messing them up. Same with those T20s on the outside. I'm gonna get my remote out of here. Okay, so with that lifted up now, first thing we have to do is, because the hard drive is on top of the disk drive, kinda, we have to remove the hard drive, which requires you to just, it's a pain in the butt, but just get those cables out of there, and then the hard drive pretty much just lifts free. But once again, I'm doing this one-handed, so it's an absolute pain in the butt. Okay, there we go. Lifted free. So we got our hard drive. We don't really care about that guy right now. Just set him off to the side somewhere. Doesn't really matter where, just where he's out of the way to the point that you can get this disk drive out. And then you're just going to lift the drive out as well. But to get it out, you're going to have to unplug that IDE cable and that power cable from the motherboard. So let me do that real quick. There you go. Those have both been removed. And you can lift your disk drive out. Now the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to have to get this thing out of this caddy here. Now there's no screws or anything. You literally just pull it apart and it lifts the actual drive out of that caddy. It's kind of like how those hard drives are attached sometimes. Okay, so now we just have our disk drive. But now we have to get this metal shielding off. Come on, focus. Okay, now we have to get this metal shielding off if we're going to want to get inside here. First thing you have to do for that is, on this side, there's those 2 screws there. Go ahead and remove those. I'm not sure exactly what kind of Phillips they are, but they are a Phillips, so just get at them. Okay, and once you get both of those screws out, this top cover will just lift free just like that. So here is what we're looking at with this drive. Now, what we actually need to get at is not on this side of the drive. It is on this side. Now, this one is way more of a pain in the ass to get into than the other one. It's got these weird clips on the side. I haven't actually entirely figured out how you're supposed to remove this thing without destroying it, but just try your best. Careful you don't strip those screws. Those are T10s again, not Phillips. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those off camera. Okay, and once you have those screws removed, you're going to remove this back plate. And the best way that I've found to remove this thing is to kind of lift up and back, because it kind of catches back here. But really, it's a pain in the butt, whatever works for you. So here is the actual release for the disc tray. You can slide this white bar here, this one, back and forth, and it will release the tray. And you can see there, all of our bands and everything, they're all working fine. I haven't had a problem with this rubber band yet slipping. But you may be wondering to yourself, so how do we actually fix this thing? So here's the big problem. Sometimes, I'm not sure why my Xbox has this problem, but when you push into that emergency release on the disk drive, it'll kind of nudge this white bar, and its closed position is all the way back here. When I found this thing, it was like here. Enough that, so the emergency release did that, so enough that the disk drive is not released, it will not open, but not enough, enough that, but not enough to open it. So enough that it'll confuse the system, but not enough that the disk drive will open. So what you need to do is, while you're in here, actuate everything, make sure it's all working, is you just need to close the drive all the way and make sure that white bar goes all the way to the side. All the way this way. And once you've done that, reassemble your Xbox and it should be working again. I'm gonna do assembly, but if you know how to assemble your Xbox from here, you can probably just do it on your own. But what I do recommend, though, is plugging in your disk drive first with your hard drive and booting up your Xbox with the cover off just to make sure it's actually working. So yeah, I'm gonna pause and get on that. So once you get that back cover on, you're gonna take your T10s. They could go right here and right here. So once you got those in, you're gonna flip the doodad over, and you're gonna put on your other piece. This one. It's gonna go on. Right. It's gonna go on just like this. It slots under in the back, and then you just press down. And then you're gonna take those two Phillips, make sure it goes down and engages all the way. You can take those two Phillips you took out earlier. Then you're gonna go right in here and right in here. Okay, so now at this point, your Xbox drive is probably assembled enough to the point where we can test it. So you're gonna plug back in that IDE cable and that power cable from down there. Make sure your hard drive is nice and level, and then plug in your cables and boot it up. All right, we're back. I got it plugged in, but not. I don't know why camera no focus. There it goes. I got it all plugged in. So we're gonna boot up. Oh, if I don't drop my phone, we're gonna boot up the TV, which is taking suspiciously long. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back. So let's turn this thing on and make sure it still works. Okay, buzz to live. We got the BIOS. Let's see if it boots to dash. Okay, boot to dash. Disk drive. And there you go. Your disk drive is now working again. So, if all else has failed, your disk drive won't open, or your Xbox won't boot and your disk drive won't open, and your emergency release thingy won't work for whatever reason, I don't know. Yep, just do this, and that'll fix it right up for you. So now we are going to continue with the rest of the reassembly. First thing you're going to do is you're going to turn the Xbox off, because that is a good thing to do before reassembly. You're going to unplug the power, and once again, as always, press that power button a couple times. It's just a safety thing. You do the same thing with computers and everything, just to make sure that all those capacitors are nice and discharged in the power supply, so you don't give yourself a nasty shock. So, it's the same thing, but in reverse. You're going to get your hard drive out of there, because the disk drive has to go in first. Get the disk drive back into the caddy. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug the disk drive. Okay, so you got your caddy out, you got your disk drive, and it's gonna pop in just like that. There it goes. Okay, and it's gonna pop in just like that. So you got your disk drive in the caddy, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna plug it back in. Once it's plugged back in, you're just gonna set it back down in there. Then you're gonna take your hard drive and make sure you get that cable looped back in where it needs to go before you put it all the way in. Okay, so now that you've got your hard drive back in, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take those 3 T10 screws from earlier. Why is my camera not focusing? Those 3 T10 screws from earlier. You're gonna pop one right down in there, and right here underneath the IDE cable. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, and once you have all 3 of those screws in, you're gonna take your IDE cable, you're gonna tuck it back under that clip just like that, make sure everything's in the right place. And then, in my opinion, the hardest part of the whole thing, putting this godforsaken front cover back on. This thing, for whatever reason, just never... Holy cow. I just did that first try, but anyway, it pops back on just like that. Make sure it's clipped in on all the corners everywhere. And then the obvious final step of putting in the 6 T20s. That's 6, right? Yeah, 6 T20s on the bottom side, under all the 4 pads and the 2 stickers. Okay, everything's buttoned up. And now, one final power on test to make sure everything's working. We've got a signal. Got the BIOS. I believe the tray can just open up now. Yep, tray's opening up fine, and we're going to do the all-important test of making sure it still plays games. So we're going to pop in classic Halo 2 to make it clear. I already have all of the games in my library downloaded to my Xbox hard drive, but it's still good to know that the thing works. So we're going to go ahead and close that, look up at the screen. It's reading. And yes, it is recognized as Halo 2. So we can plug in our handy dandy controller. Oh, this is the jank one with the drift. We can launch the disc. And it all works just fine. Now, to be clear, once again, you probably shouldn't be using this thing to run discs because it's bad on the hard drive, or on the disk drive, I mean. These disk drives are old. These things are very hard to come by now for a good price. And if they fail, the Xbox is cooked. Unless you get a new disk drive. Which, once again, you know, pain in the butt. Because even if you have all your discs downloaded, it will the system will not boot if the disk drive is not working. So there we go. We have Halo 2 up and running, and our disk drive is once again functional. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment. And if this helped you out, please like and subscribe if you're feeling like it. I might release more repair videos like this in the future. Only reason I really released this one was because I couldn't find anything on the internet about this specific problem. It might just be my Xbox only, for all I know. But just in case there is one person out there running into the same issue as me, this video is here for you. So, thank you for watching.